Hello. Or maybe I should say, as you've probably learned from watching the series already, g'day, good Aussie expression. I'm Jebby Phillips, and with me we have Jonathan Frakes. As those of you who've been watching the series will know, plays one of the characters in 5 Mile Creek. And through this series of interviews, we are developing various parts of the series, the production, the plot, and so forth. Jonathan, this is your first experience working in Australia.
It certainly
Have
is.
you noticed any major differences, or has it been a surprise to you in any way?
I was pleasantly surprised to find how efficient the crews worked. I think that they're pared down to a style and a number that is, there's a sort of pride and everyone has their own job to do, and there's a little bit of dead weight on some of the crews in the states that I've worked on. And with everyone so specifically focused on their specific job, it's a wonderful pace is built up. Everyone wants to make sure that it works fast and better and better and better. And I was very happy to find that. It's very, makes the work experience much better to see when nobody's sleeping on the set, nobody asleep in the trucks and that sort of thing.
You didn't fall asleep in the middle of any of your scenes.
I never fell asleep on the set, no, I'm proud to say.
You play a character, I don't want to use the exact word outlaw or bushranger, but there's that sort of overtone. Yes, if you press me, I will.
He is called a bushranger, there's no getting around it.
Well, I didn't want to malign his good name. What are the differences, or is there any difference between what Americans would call an outlaw and what Australians call a bushranger?
I think the only difference is in America they say, reach for the sky, partner, and here they say, stick 'em up, mate, that sort of thing. But it's very same type of character with the mask and holding up the stagecoach and the whole shebang.
So you didn't have any difficulty sort of making that transition to
Oh, no, it looks very much like an American Western in that respect. The look of the show doesn't, but the character is very much like a classic Western outlaw. Yeah.
How is the look of the show different from the classic American Western?
Just the pleasure of having the bush has so many different types of flora and fauna, colors and trees and vistas that you don't see on American Western ranches where we shoot a lot of the Westerns there. I think it's a much more varied look and a much, they have a bigger range here, I feel. You can get a wider shot because you have more space to deal with on the location, and we're sometimes limited by, you run into 20th century wires and too many airplanes and this and that and the other thing, but and it's a great place to work out there because the air is clean and you fill up, everybody feels good.
And you're really, actually, of course, you're only about 30 kilometers from the city of Sydney itself.
Which is just amazing.
So, you play a character, in fact, that I would expect would be very difficult because we hear a great deal about your character before, in fact, we ever get to see you. Did this present a difficulty for you?
Well, I had worried about it in that people viewing the show had formed an opinion of what the character would be like from what the other characters have said, which is often what you base your character on. But I decided I'm here to do it. I'll do what I think is right, and they seem pleased, so it's worked out fine.
Do you think it would be surprising for the viewers, that is, that having heard all these snippets and bits about you, do you think the reality of Adam Scott was then a surprise for them?
I think it's about time he showed up. I was ready to come in Ep 4.
Maybe you should come in with gray hair and a beard.
I did come in with a beard. The whole character's based. I went from a beard to mutton chops to leave town to the clean shaven, which is a real treat to have 3 different looks in one show.
Was it a good character to play?
Oh yeah, great fun, great fun.
Why?
Well, the guy is a bit of a renegade. He's got a heart of gold, and he's got a vision of what he makes promises, sort of like the Rainmaker, like Starbuck, and it's always great, a little bigger than life.
Is that better to play than, say, the straight-out Mr. Goody Two-Shoes type of character?
Without a doubt. I'm a little sick and tired of the Goody Two-Shoe boyfriend or the boy next door, or that sort of thing. Yeah, it's a nice, also to do it in period. The 1860s, they got wonderful costumes and a great hat to carry yourself off.
In fact, has there been a lot of emphasis on your part and the part of other people to really get that historical authenticity?
Well, I think a lot of that has been done before I even got here. I'm very impressed with the look of the show and the detail, the amount of time and care and money spent on the detail. The production value of the show saves us doing a lot of that work because they've done it for us, and the costumes and the look and the sets and the overall care that's been taken by Crawford and Disney has been such that we walk in hopefully to fill the last little step to make it authentic.
Well, one of those last little steps, of course, is the fact that it's really an international cast, isn't it? There are Australians, there are Americans. Now, that could have been, in fact, a very interesting experience in lots of unexpected ways.
It ended up being an interesting experience in all positive ways. I must say that I was prepared. Everyone had raved so much about working in Australia and working with the Australian cast and crews. I thought, oh no. And it ends up living up to all of its press, which has been a pleasant surprise for me, certainly. There was certainly no language barrier. It's just ironic and sort of funny to hear people use phrases that you question the meaning of, some of which I certainly can't mention on the air, but it's been, I'll be able to take home some wonderful new images and phrases mostly.
Have you picked up any Australian phrases that will carry with you?
Well, the one I hear constantly on the set is, hey, no worries, mate. So you're not sure whether they mean no problem, no sweat, everything's going to be fine, or it'll get done when we get it done. But everybody says it all day long. And no worries, mate. No worries, mate.
Or how about she'll be right?
She'll be right.
I had just difficulty with that when someone would approach me in a shop and they'd say, are you right? And I didn't know if the answer was, no, I'm wrong, or
I'm left, or whatever.
I'm left. Have those language difficulties seriously hampered things now?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. No, it's been a very friendly atmosphere on this set as well. So they were receptive to my coming in, and I was looking forward to coming to work here, so that had a lot to do with, there were really no problems with that.
What do you think is the most vivid memory of Australia that you will take back to America with you?
I think working out there in the bush, spending the whole day out there from sunrise to sunset and seeing sometimes the rain comes through or this and that, and you have a break in the action. You can walk up around a corner somewhere and end up at a waterfall and sit down and have a cigarette. It's like a dream. It's a wonderful place to work.
Some of the most beautiful parts of America, too, are, of course, the countryside and the outdoors. Have you had a lot of time in the American Old West outdoors as well?
We spend time up in Tahoe, up in Colorado and Nevada, up in the mountains, and it's rough, just like this, but it's a totally different look because the Rocky Mountains are so harsh and huge. This is a little more rambling and smoother, but it's always a pleasure to be outdoors.
What do you think American audiences will learn or perceive or feel about Australia as a result of having seen this series?
I would assume that the similarities between the Old West in America and the Old West here become more and more clear, because there really is a very similar look and feel and pioneer sensibilities, that sort of thing. I think they'll be surprised how similar the experiences were. And the gold rushes were very popular, obviously, there and here, which explains a lot of the reason for the Americans, I gathered, settled quite a bit here and came over.
In fact, in the plot of the series, in 5 Mile Creek, the Americans seem to feel right at home immediately. Do you think that's happened in real life as well?
I doubt it. I think that's Disney. I think that's the way, they'd like to portray it. It certainly has happened on this show, both personally and professionally. I feel that the Americans have come in and settled in very easily and made to feel very much at home.
Well, there are a lot of characters, of course, in this series. A lot of them have settled in, and some of them settle right back out again. Let's take a minute now and have a look at what is going to happen next in 5 Mile Creek.
On our next episode, Maggie's rejection of her husband causes her to lash out.
You hit Sam!
I think you're yelling at me because your husband isn't here.
Ooh.
Until a passenger in trouble arrives at 5 Mile Creek.
That woman up there is going to have a baby. And I need you now more than I've ever needed.
And the crisis forces everyone to pitch in.
I'm going to be a father.
It's a race against time for a new life.
It's a girl.
Don't miss the continuing series of 5 Mile Creek, exclusively on the Disney Channel.